Alright. I'm sad today, there's no Peachy. It already makes me sad. It was fun yesterday, I had much fun. Hence the title of the stream. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Wednesday evening. Happy hump day, people. For those of you specifically that work your cheeky Monday to Fridays. How are you fine people doing? If you haven't already, whether you're watching live or on demand, please make sure... Oh, what's going on there? Why is the transition thing changed on OBS? How do I turn that off? I can do it loads of it. How do I... Wait. Do we fix it? What happens if I press it now? I think we fixed it. Chat. Why did the Stinger start doing it for every single transition? That was weird. Anybody? Hey, anyway, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Strange, odd, these things happen. Make sure you click all those buttons for me, you wonderful people. Chapter Master Ballsack says stream over bar. It's not stream over. It broke. The Stinger broke, but we fixed it already. I've had loads of dramas. I was just sending it loose. I've had loads of dramas of OBS today. Like it didn't pick up the camera for like 20 minutes, and I finally got it working. So I don't know why it's being weird. Sometimes OBS does this. This is the downside, of course, of using one, free software, because OBS Studio is free software. Anybody who wants to stream can use OBS software. And secondly, doing it live as well. Live streaming is both my most favourite things to do in the world and the most stressful thing ever. Love it. How you doing, Mr. the Ballsack? Anyway, Peachy was on the thumbnail, but he's not here. Scam. It is a scam. It's a scam. You are unfortunately going to have to make do with me and Luce instead. Hello. Christopher Sadler, thank you very much for the gifted membership. You're a hero. One new member. By the way, I'm probably going to stumble over tons of words tonight because I am fucking exhausted. So we got back like late last night after packing down. Got back like midnight, and then like, wind down routine, get ready for bed, and I was still buzzing basically. So I didn't get to sleep particularly early, obviously. Well, I mean it was early in the morning, strictly. And then woke up normal time today, so I've been absolutely fucking ball-bagged all day.
I didn't know you were still wired.
Yeah, well...
You looked tired to me.
I was tired. You can be wired and tired, though.
I can't.
So, like, you're physically tired, but you're still kind of... You're up here in performer mode, and it takes a while to come down normally anyway. But then because it's Peachy, and I was like, it's one of those things as well. When it's Peachy, right? I'm sure he won't mind me saying. I actually had this conversation with him. You know, one of the reasons why people want to get Peachy on the channel because he's a big name and he'll probably bring a relatively big audience. We probably had our record number of concurrent live viewers last night on the stream at concurrent 508 people watching, which is amazing and it's phenomenal. So there's a lot of stress on you then to like, don't be shit, because a lot of these might be new people. Yeah. So be entertaining and interesting.
Be less
on
shit.
The off, yeah, be less shit. Life lesson. On the off chance they hit those magical buttons for us, or do really generous, super nice things like Mrs. the Star Pilot, who's gifted 20 more of the finest memberships, not to be outdone, but only prepared to equal. Mr. Ballsack then comes in.
It's 20. It's a great photo.
Chapter Master Ballsack, yeah. I think that's his actual face. With another 20 gifted as well. Oh my lord, people. If we can just do this through the night. I noticed on YouTube yesterday, we've had well, no, this morning, I think. Was it this morning or was it yesterday? I think it might be this morning. We've had a drop of 1,000 members. I was like, what the fuck have I done? And then I worked out what was going on. It's like exactly a month after we had members record night. And I was like, because they're gifted. They just run out and then they don't renew. And I was like, thank fuck for that. Jesus Christ, I thought I'd done something really wrong. And I was like, what did I say? But it wasn't. No.
I don't think we've got time for that stream.
It was just, it was just the members record stream then wearing off. So we're back down to living a normal life now, unfortunately. Mr. Ballsack, thank you for one more. 20 gifted from pair review though is unbelievable. It's mad. It's insane. If you're unaware, people, if you're not a person who normally gifts, 20 gifted memberships is like 100 of the English pounds, which is fucking crazy. So thank you so much for those 20 gifted. You are incredible people. If you've been gifted a membership, ! Discord in the chat. Hit the link. Come and join us in the Great Hall Discord server. Make use of it. Connect your YouTube account to your Discord account so you get access to all of the areas and try it out. And my hope is we start to convert more of these gifted members into full-time members. So when the gifted memberships run out, rather than seeing a drop of like 1,000, we see a drop of like 800. If people choose to be members all by themselves, that'd be really nice. So make sure you use it. Say thank you to these people, and if you're feeling so inclined, what you can also do is pay it forward. Kyle started that, paying it forward. I love it. The idea that if you get gifted, it's nice to come in and gift one. You don't have to gift 20 like John. Amazing people. You're all incredible. Thank you so much. Now I have 21, so I win. Well, I mean, you win at 21, Mr. Ballsack. You're right, and I have a way of baiting you into more right now, because I don't think anyone else is going to be gifting like 22. So I can't really bait you, and you're already incredible anyway. Andy Jones, thank you for becoming a Yard tier member all by yourself. You fucking legend. Have you guys been enjoying? Did you enjoy the Peachy content yesterday? And have you watched the Mr. the War Hipster podcast from Monday? And what did you think of that as well?
I had well, I didn't have it on. You were editing it, and
I was
here working, so I was listening to it.
You've listened to most of it during the edit, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good. I wasn't expecting that kind of content. It was nice.
I'm trying to do relatively serious interviews.
I know.
So I can dick around on stream all the time, and I do.
I wonder if people are going to sit down in your chair, and they're going to be set for the double entendres and the general smut, and then when you ask them a serious question, I think they just don't know what to do with themselves. The Peachy interview, I'm very excited about putting on, but I don't want to peak too soon. I have to balance this, right? Because Peachy's obviously April's guest, but Mr. War Hipster's podcast only went live to members on Monday, doesn't go live to the public on Saturday. What I can't do is blow my load too early and throw the Peachy one up, because it will incredibly frustrating when that happens.
So frequent. And it will what it will do is hamper the other content, so I have to wait to put it up. But it was good content. It was good content. It was so good, in fact, that after we'd done the main part of the interview, before we sat down for the Thanes questions, I had to say to him, "Are you comfortable with everything you've said so far?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think so." It's like, okay.
I still think
because it's going in.
I like your idea that you edit it, send it to him to be like, speak now.
Because of some of what we talked about, I'm going to be sending him the first draft and be like, are you still okay with this before I put it out to everybody else? I think it's a really good interview. Once
you sleep on it as well, you might go, actually.
Yeah, I'm doing the same with people in general. Obviously, me and Josh touched on some serious issues, as well as the Warhammer 40k and the gaming issues and the painting issues. We touched on some serious issues, and I said the same thing, like, are you comfortable with it? And he's like, yeah, absolutely.
It's just nice to say, are you sure you want everyone to know that you've got 6 toes? Are you sure? Because these things have a habit of defining you.
Yeah. Electman, I did in fact get your email, and I have the first audiobook downloaded now already. Thank you so much for that email. Thank you for taking the time to write so much of an email as well to explain it all. It was incredible. You're a legend. I love you. Thank you so much. You hero.
Oh, Lawrence has got a good one.
What's he said?
Peachy's stream was one of my favourite, close tie with Joe's spells.
A tie with Joe's spells? So we've got
Peachy versus Joe's spells.
Well, actually, Peachy's stream, that's a nice segue, Lawrence. Thank you for making this look semi-professional. Peachy's stream is basically the reason for the stream title, actually, because we've been doing a thing. We're doing a thing, chat. I don't know if you noticed. I've talked about it a fair amount, so if you haven't noticed, you haven't been paying fucking attention, and you should. But we've been doing a thing on the channel, and we've said repeatedly, 10th edition isn't our favourite edition, but we're having loads of fun. And I think, actually, yesterday's stream for me was kind of the pinnacle of that. It was an amalgamation of everything we've said before, all coming together in one particular stream that I think genuinely really showcased everything I'm trying to say to people. We played 10th edition 40k, but we didn't play 10th edition 40k. When we did, we didn't. So to start with, Peachy was messaging me. I'll take you a little bit of a story just in case you missed it from yesterday. I don't think I covered all of it yesterday. But Sunday, Peachy messaged me. He's like, "Case of Tuesday, book the hire car, blah blah blah. You still want me to play 40k on the evening?" I was like, "I'd love to. Yeah, cool." I was like, Joe's told me you need to bring your Ventrilian Nobles, which is his custom-built, kit-bashed Imperial Guard army, so it's humans and tanks and stuff. And when I said to Joe, he's got this, and this, and Joe's like, Ventrilian Nobles. I was like, oh, okay. Joe's like, they've been in codexes. They're on artwork in codexes for... I was like, I mean, okay. So I messaged Pete and said, you need to bring your Ventrilian Nobles. He then messaged me on Sunday. I was like, Liam, I've been using Battlescribe, and I'm having a problem here because some of my old units that I made are no longer legal in the new rules. Blah 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 blah, and I don't really have enough points. I was like, okay, how many points do you have? About like 1,000 or 1,200 points. I was like, that's a problem. Okay. And then I was like, well, what we can do is we can use some of our tanks to reinforce your army, and we have a legal army then. He went, oh yeah, well cool, we'll do that. He said, or I can bring my Sisters of Battle. I was like, okay. Did you want to do that instead? Then you can bring those if you'd rather. Don't worry about what Joe wants too much. If you want to bring us about, bring us about. And he messaged me and was like, they're about 1,200 points. I was like, oh, fucking hell, PG. Have you got a whole army of anything? And he was like, well, no, because he said what I did is I built the guard section, which was the infantry, humans, line, rank and file. Then the sisters section, which is the power armored, like zealotry women behind with the big bolt guns. And then I built some space marines. And the idea was it was a narrative force like you get in the books.
Oh. I
was like, okay, so it's more of an Imperium army than it is a legal sisters army or a legal guard army. And I was like, so you know what, Peachy? Fuck it. Because it's not currently legal to do that in the current version of the game. I said, fuck it, bring it all. Let's see what we can do. Oh, okay. So he did. He packed everything up. Chapter Master Ballsack, thank you for 10 more. 31 from Mr. the Ballsack. You're a legend. Thank you so much. John, I love you. You're a hero. We've only got, what is it, 1,053 to go, 4 to go, to get to the record so we can get those 1,000 back up.
Do you know what? I possibly need an eye test because my eyes, I think, are getting worse.
You don't need an eye test. You have glasses. You're not wearing them.
Have you seen them by any chance?
No, no, I haven't. So he bought his army, and he turned up. He said, "Look, Liam," he said, "I've played one game of 10th edition so far. That was at Christmas time with friends, and I basically got tabled in a turn and didn't really get to play it much." I was like, "Okay, cool." He says, "So I don't really know the game either, right?" Chapter Master Beta, fucking hell! It's because you kept the same fucking picture, John. Oh, love it. Thank you, Chapter Master Beta. Brilliant. So he bought his army and he said, I've only played this one game. I don't really know what I'm doing with 10th edition 40k. I was like, cool, it's fine. I'll hold your hand. We'll play simple. We'll play really simple. Like, we'll pick simple rules, simple mission. We'll play really simple. I spoke to Joe and I was like, Joe's going to be off to the flank. So if you need any help, Joe knows your army. He can help. He can step in and help you or remind you or tell you to do something. Peter's like, perfect. That sounds great. We'll have fun. I was like, cool. That's all we're here for. We then streamed the interview. We then got his army out. I looked at his army on the table. Beautiful, as you'd expect. But I was like, not a good army. In terms of like actual army unit abilities, it's not a good army. And Peachy's there going, this person's called this, and this person's called this, and this is this, and these have these feathers because of this, and these wear this colour armour because he's made all his own narrative because he fucking loves it. And I was like, I mean, this is Warhammer now. I'm like, I'm with me and Joe going, oh, like the talkative. So Joe then basically built an army that was legal points-wise, but wasn't legal in terms of the build. Legal points-wise. And Joe's like, what do you want to take about it against it? I was like, well, he's running an Imperium, so I feel like I should run Chaos. But we need to match. If I run any of my normal Chaos armies, it's not really a game. So we toned down the Chaos armies and we built, I think that one might have been legal. We built a legal list. And we played against each other and we deployed. And then the first turn started, right? So we've already broken the rules. We don't have legal armies immediately. We don't have legal armies. We've already broken the rules. And I was genuinely like, how are the audience going to react to this? Because we're not playing by the rules right now. And then we started playing the game. Peachy got first turn. And I was like, oh. From a rules perspective, I could have done with first turn, so I could have shown him what to do, and he can go, oh, I'll just mimic what Liam kind of did in the first turn because Peachy got first turn.
Does the person who goes first have the game advantage? Always?
It depends. Not always, but it depends. So he moved. We did his orders. He moved his stuff. I was like, okay, good. We've done the movement phase, and I expected him to know the sort of core mechanics of 40k because he's Peachy. He used to work for Games Workshop, right? And he did. And then he was like, that unit and that unit and that unit are going to shoot at that unit. Now, if you know Warhammer, what you do is you pick a single unit and you go, that unit's going to shoot, and you roll to hit and you roll to wound, and I roll my saving throws. And then you go, the next unit's going to shoot, and you roll to hit, and you roll your wound, and you roll your saving throws. And the next one, right? That's how it worked. Peachy was like, no. So he rolled the first unit to hit. He pulled out the hits. He put them to one side, and he rolled the hit rolls for another unit. And I was like, he did. That's not how it works. He's like, yeah, but they're not going to kill him, are they? So I might as well just do them like this. And my little brain's like, but that's not rules. That's not how it works.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I was like, what's he? That one's got this many dice. These are plasmas. We'll just do all those separately. But they're 3 different units. Like, I don't understand. And then the way my little maths brain works is like, what you see, shooting at 2 wound models. So you fire your 2 damage weapon if I haven't taken a wound, or your 1 damage weapon if I have taken a wound, because of damage to wound efficiency to be the most efficient at killing. Peachy didn't give a fuck. He didn't care. I'm going to overcharge my plasma, but the guy's got 1 wound left, so you don't need 2 damage. I'm overcharging because I always overcharge. Roll dice. I was like, fuck, okay, fucking hell. And I was like, to start with, I was like, I don't know what to do with this, because he's all, and I don't want to be the cunt on YouTube who's like, Peachy, you're wrong.
No, don't be that
right?
guy.
So I let him crack on. I let him crack on with it, and in the end, I was like, I think what I did as well is I kind of relaxed into the game, and I became less worried about getting rules exactly right. And there was different parts of the game that we did. We spoke about this a little bit at the end. There's different parts of the game we did. We looked at it. We looked at how it's supposed to work. And it's quite complicated where I've got to roll these 2 dice for that model, and then if he dies, I then roll these dice for that model, and if he takes a wound, and I was like, and then they were like, just do 4s with re-rolls, because that's kind of, it makes it easier. And we just kind of grouped a couple of rules together and just made it quicker and simpler. And it was, do you know what it was? It was more fun, because it wasn't, we weren't bogged down with, we weren't bogged down with, got 8 dice, got to roll 2 on those guys, oh, 1's dead, so I've got to roll another one, oh, now he's dead. So I've got to put 4 on that guy. He's got 4 ups. Cool. I've made 2, but then the one I failed, he's got another 4. We didn't do that. We didn't do any of that bollocks. We just rolled, and it was great. And I was like, at the end of it, we finished the stream. We said goodbye. We turned the cameras off, and I was like, "Did you have fun?" He went, "I had a fucking great time." And Peachy asked me if he could come back.
Of course he can.
And I was like, yeah, as often as you want.
I freaking loved the narrative army. More, please.
Thanks, Tay. And I was like, fucking course you can. Absolutely you can. I didn't even have to ask him. It was amazing. So he obviously had a great time. And I was like, actually, I had a really fun fucking time as well. And part of it is because I didn't get myself bogged down in some of the nuances and specifics in the 10th edition rule set. When it got complicated, we were like, we could play the complicated version, or between 2 mates rolling dice, just come up with something slightly different, and it worked for us. We're both happy with it. Are you happy with this? Yeah, I'm happy with this. You happy with this? Yeah, I'm happy with this. Just use that instead then. Just do that. And that was really fucking refreshing. And so that's the point in the title of tonight, chat, and it's something I'm trying to encourage you all to do with us, or do along with us, right? 40k can be fun. Just ignore the rules. And I kind of genuinely feel like that now. Like, if you look at a rule and you are playing with friends and you like, that's a bit shit, I don't like it, change it. Absolutely change it. Do something that works for both of you. It's what we did last night, and it was fucking incredible, and I loved it. Carsten, thank you so much for the gifted membership. You're a hero. Mordy Hammer, thank you for the gifted membership. You're a hero. Mary loves a dick. Great. No, not a dick. Mary loves dick. Brilliant. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. A chapter master beta. Thank you for 5 more gifted. I can't. Is it a penis rocket, Luce? Is that what it is?
Where?
The picture for chapter master beta. He's obviously gone and changed his logo. Instead of a normal comment there, he's had a gift instead.
Zerhack has said, Peachy made me realise something I think a good part of the community lost over the last decade. Self-narrative creativity. Peachy's imagination was really refreshing.
It's incredible. I would go as far as to say that on the whole, I think maybe 2 or 3 models in his army for his Ventrally Nobles weren't converted in some way.
I'm interested about, you mentioned feathers.
Yeah, they've all got feathers in the hats, like old Fusiliers.
Right, I'm gonna have a look.
Don't, make sure your volume's off.
It is off. It's already off.
I know what you're like. Blah, 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 blah. Oh god, here we go.
Well, it would be you rabbiting on.
Yeah, blah, blah, exactly. Blah, 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 blah. Chapter Master Mate, thank you for 5 more gifted. Honestly, John, you're far too kind. We are at 61 new members already. That means we are 39 away from our target. You people are amazing. Thank you so much for that. But I think you're right with what you said. Like, I now, honestly, I now feel like I was building this cheeky chap today from Major Sigmar, this little banner man on the horse for the Dawnbringers, and I'm like, I even messaged, I was like, I want to do super fancy bases. They need to look really nice. I need to start thinking about how I'm going to order them into. We do this for a living. I've done this for a living for a while now, for a few years, and I think I even came away from my time with Beach a bit inspired.
Pinnacle of Garage Hammer.
100%, Dave. Absolutely. I feel like last night really epitomised what Garage Hammer was all about. And it was interesting because I sent Peachy these messages before he came down and said, don't worry that you don't know the rules. We play Garage Hammer. We don't care.
Custodes now have their own WOG phase. I'm going to calling it the Parry This You Casual phase but GW preview game on Warhammer Plus.
Worthy, thank you for the 10. I have Warhammer Plus. I don't watch their battle reports because they're devoid of all kinds of personality. So I haven't watched them for a while. They're up for pre-order, aren't they, sometime soon, these books? And they're not up for pre-order this Sunday. If they're up for pre-order this Sunday, it might be that there's Orcs versus Custodes on Tuesday. I'm just throwing that out there, right?
Did you put his models on camera quite close up?
At one point, yes.
Do you remember how far?
No. No.
It's like a 4-hour battle report.
It was 4 hours because normally I'm like 3 hours, everyone's dead, the audience is dead, I'm dead, let's just fucking wrap it up. And I said to Kyle around the 3 hour mark, how many people watching? He's like, 460. I was like, shit, we'll keep going then. We'll milk that cow. But it was just fun. It was just good, and I just enjoyed it. And it was like, it was quite liberating, I think, to go, that looks like nonsense. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's do something different. That looks like nonsense. I think it was brilliant. And for a person who plays the game kind of for a living and does this like 2 games a week, every single week minimum, and I think that actually after his visit, Peachy's rubbed off on me a little bit as well now, and I'm a little bit more like, we can be a little bit more chill. We don't have to be so on it all the time. That's
Yours were the red ones.
Yeah. That. I've got actual photos.
Oh, okay.
Boop. That's me unplugging my phone. If you want to know about feathers, so like,
is he doing his own tank sound effect?
yes. So like, there's a feather man with a bannerlet.
A feather man with a banner. Oh wow.
I never hear her say that. What is the minimum amount of troops do you need for games? That you don't. You take whatever you want. My brother and I did this recently. Just played a kill 'em all mission. Didn't use any stratagems. Objectives. Was our first game in 10th. Was a good laugh. Do you know what? Last night I think I used a reroll maybe once for a charge and a damage twice. I think I used 2 CP to interrupt. But because I was aware that Peachy didn't know his stratagems, so he didn't know these things, right? We have, I'm sure you've heard us talk about them. We have these things called stratagems, things you can spend resources on during the game. He didn't know his stratagems at all. We did a couple for him that he knew, very few, but I think I ended up on more command points because I didn't use stratagems. And do you know what? It's actually refreshing to not use stratagems. It was refreshing to not use stratagems. It's a weird thing to say, right? It's an absolutely weird thing to say when you go, hey, here's this thing that we've all become kind of accustomed to, I guess, in the last, 3 editions. Didn't use them. Didn't really miss them. That's the big thing. Didn't really miss them either. Ugh. He overwatched nades. He used nades, overwatch tank shock, and he used reinforcements because I wanted more of his pretty models on the table. That was like my missus describes a car. What sort of car? A red one.
I remember when we were dating, someone said, "What car's Liam got?" And I was like, "A red one."
Yeah.
You don't drive, do you? Nope.
Nope. Yeah, it was fucking incredible in terms of fun, and I find it very, very interesting. To me personally, I find it very, very interesting that it was incredible in terms of fun, and we brought the rules down a notch. Don't need rules to have fun. You don't need layers of rules to have fun. Just play the game and make narrative choices and make narrative decisions. So Peachy was charging into World Eaters with his guardsmen because they have bayonets on, so that makes sense. I've never seen a man so excited as when his commissar shot his own guy. You know, it was fucking incredible. Kind of miss Maelstrom sometimes, but I really miss Maelstrom all the time. Redacted83, thank you so much for the gifted membership. It should come through in just a second and bump us up to 60. The tracker is not working properly lately. YouTube tells me we're on 60. Execute order 66, but actually the tracker says 61.
What's that from? What's that from?
Star Wars.
Well, there we go.
Yes, you don't have to be Tabletop Titans. Garage Hammer is the best, by far the most enjoyable battle report I have watched for months on any channel.
Oh, thank you, Renat. That's incredibly kind words. Thank you so much for that. It's amazing. And luckily, it levels up again tomorrow with Joe versus Brom.
I liked Carl's comment last night. Brom can never play Peachy because the world could end.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They'd have had fun. I'm sure Brom would have enjoyed himself. But Brom is also a person who's like, this is what the rule says on the card. Would have probably, like me, gone, what do you mean you're not doing it like that?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Fun is for winners.
Fun is for winners, Mr. Debater. Chapter Master Beta. Is it staying like that now, John? Is it staying Chapter Master Beta? Thank you so much. Fun is for winners. 100% it is. Absolutely. I don't know.
Peachy's sound effects were fantastic. Death screams and all.
Not just death screams.
What, like he actually screamed at the top of his
Not just death screams. What he did when he deployed his army was he went and got himself another 5 or 6 extra models. Dead models. People on the ground dead. And when someone died, he replaced them with a dead one. They died. I was like, you take the models dead, they'll put a dead one on the table.
Did he paint them dead?
Yeah, they're painted dead.
Like
They're dead models.
crosses
It's
for
not like little crook face. Well, he's got one model which was a round base, right? So there's weapons in Warhammer 40k it's called plasma, right? Or
Yeah.
there's a lot of other versions of this like plasma, but they have a special rule called gets hot. So if you choose to squeeze the trigger a bit too hard for maximum power, there is a risk it blows up in your hand and kills you. It's a risk of that type of weapon system. But if it doesn't do that, it can be a lot more powerful. He has plasma on everything, and he overcharges all the time. Doesn't matter whether he needs to or not, he does.
Okay.
Always overcharge. So he had another model, which was a base, with 2 boots painted, and 2 bits of cotton coming out of each boot, like smoking boots. And I was like, this is fucking phenomenal. We've got 2 smoking boots here if plasma. Yeah, and he had a whole pile of dead models.
Would you not want to get one of those models and then just hold a flame to it so the plastic melts? So then it's like it blew up, so it melted.
It looked cool. I loved it. I loved it. You need to give names to your characters to chill even more. Brom should call Orc Boss Joe. I already feel the hate going for him. Joe was, yeah, absolutely. John says, Ballsack is still here. I have multiple accounts. You can't have more than 10, just FYI. Fucking hell. I missed the game live last night. I was playing Crusade Game before 40k. Did you have fun, though? Is important. You might want to check one-page rules. Grimdark Future would be... I've seen that a few times, actually. Would be interesting to hear your team's opinions on that. I've heard that a few times on one-page rules. We'll have to give it a go at some point. But what was interesting, and this is where I legitimately think what we're trying to do on YouTube is working. I legitimately think what me and the team are trying to do is working. Because Peachy, 40k is not his favourite game. His favourite game for Games Workshop games is Warcry, which is a much smaller game, right? Essentially.
Would that make sense why he only had 1,200 points?
No, because Warcry's like Age of Sigmar universe. Okay. And he said, next time I come back, I'll bring 2 Warcry Warbrands and we'll play Warcry and stream. And I said to chat, who are normally only used to us playing 40k games, do you want to watch us play Warcry? And they went, overwhelming yes. But good. My whole plan was you watch us play fucking anything. That was the plan. The Top Gear effect, right? The presenters are having fun. It doesn't matter if they're in cars, scooters, boats. It doesn't matter if they're playing 40k AOS or Warcry. The presenters are having fun. It can be entertaining no matter what you're doing.
I do feel Top Gear have missed a mode of transport, though.
The bus.
Well, that would be hilarious. But I think the Heelys, those shoes with wheels in.
They're old men,
see
Moose.
Clarkson break an ankle.
FR Black Sheep, thank you so much for upgrading to Jarl tier, you fucking legend. We're on 62 new members tonight, you wonderful people. Can we get to 100 just to make me feel happy and cheerful and warm inside, and so I can sleep easy? I'm fucking tired, actually. I tell you one thing. So he got there at like I think about 12:30, and I got in quite early. You know, I left here quite early. Got in quite early. Set up everything for the talk show, checked it again as I do, and I got myself quite worked up before he got there because I get quite anxious before those sorts of things anyway. We did the talk show 3.5 hours that recording was, but he turned up at 12:30, and Joe had come down to the studio for the day because Joe's words, not mine. can I please come and fangirl? Like, fucking course you can. Absolutely, of course you can.
Just keep your clothes on, Joe.
Sometimes a challenge for him. So I won't talk about the stories that he sent me this morning.
He's so poetic.
A buck, always be overcharging.
Always be overcharging. Thank you, Mr. Bater. Thank you so much. You're a hero.
Don't.
Joe, chat, had a bit of a dicky tummy on the way home. Okay. If you're in the US and you don't know what I mean by a bit of a dicky tummy when on the way home, let me find it. Unfortunately, Joe and I talk a lot. I had a message from him at 8:25 this morning. Right, I hadn't spoke to him yet this morning. Okay. Last night, not once but twice, I had full shoes, socks, pants off, arse to the wind, in hedge, diarrhea. I was like, on the drive home? And he said yes, and I put, and he'd said to me yesterday that he felt like he had a bit of a dicky tummy because the night before he'd eaten a whole pack of coconut macaroons, and he reckoned it was those. So I then wrote, what the fuck was in those macaroons? And he put, I was like a wild shitting beast. I guess it was pure laxatives. It's never happened to me before to not make it home, to not make it home and be weeping in a hedge. Yeah, I laughed again. He said, I'm never eating them again. I said, lol, I'm laughing too much. I'm sorry. Poor old Joe. Carsten, thank you for becoming a Hasir tier member all by yourself. You absolute legend. What a hero. Poor old Joe had a rough old night. I laughed. Anyway, he came down just to fanboy. I don't remember. So he was there. Because he came down to fanboy, Peachy turned up at 12:30. And we were talking till 1:30, 1:45 at the earliest. And then we filmed for 3.5 hours. And I was getting very nervous about time between finishing the interview and setting up for the stream. Now, we have 5 cameras, but we only have 5 cameras. So if you think top down's 1, dice cam's 2, we then have intimate cam, angle cam, and main cam, right? That's our 3 other cameras. Top down and dice cam are mounted to my ceiling in my studio, so I can't really take them down. So when we film a talk show, what I have to do is I have to take angle cam, intimate cam, and main cam, and I have to make them my 3 angles for the talk show. And then once we've recorded the talk show, I have to put all them back in place for the main show. They've got little permanent marks on the carpet, so I know where the camera goes. Because if we move out, I just have to replace the carpet tile. Of course, not a problem. So we Peachy turned up at 11:30. I was already quite anxious about it because I'm like, if I fuck this up, it's mildly embarrassing. We then talked till about 1:30, 1:45, 2 o'clock because Joe fangirled. He was very, very excited about Peachy.
Aww.
And he talked to him a lot. He was very excited. And I was like, I'm going to let him do it.
Yeah, works of the job.
Joe's a fucking wonderful human being. I'm going to let him get on with it. We then sat down and did the interview. I said to Peachy, an hour of interviewing you about your time at GW, etc. And then an hour of Thane's questions. It'll be 2 hours. 3.5 hours.
You gonna do any more narrative games?
100%, yeah. I need to work out what we can do. I feel like I've always had this thing redacted at H3. I've always had this thing in my mind that to do narrative games, we have to have narrative rule set. No. Last night proved you can use Leviathan rule set and narrative armies and play the game narratively, and then it's a narrative game. You don't need a narrative rule set, which was very, very interesting. I think that's probably unlocked something for us in the future and made it a little bit less of a pressure on our shoulders to try and make a super narrative mission pack, because you don't actually need that at all.
I have a question about Joe's diarrhea.
So anyway, quickly, we'll get to that. Old Squirty McSquirtface. So we then filmed the 3.5 hours. Thane's questions was 1 hour and 10 minutes. We filmed for 3.5 hours. So 2 hours and 20 minutes of him talking about like his career at GW and what's happened. And it was, like I said, it was like, are you comfortable with everything you've said? Yeah, okay. I was like, cool, because I'm probably going to leave it all in if you're happy with it, which is great. But then we finished at like fucking 5, and I was like, I've got 2.5 hours to turn this all around and prep for the stream tonight. So I'd already briefed Joe when we finish, because we were like halfway through the stream, halfway through the interview, we stopped for a toilet break. I was like, when we finish, I'm going to need you to come through. We'll start getting everything set up, and we're going to have to go. Yeah. And he was like, okay. And so we finished, and we were moving cameras, building the table, sorting the armies out, all that kind of stuff. So then we rolled. We had a burger from Five Guys. I was going to take him out for dinner. We didn't have time, so I ordered in. We then went live at 7:30 in the evening as usual, and obviously the game carried on till 11:20. It was nearly 4 hours.
It is 4 hours.
We then packed away, nearly 4 hours actually. 11:30 would have been 4 hours. It
It's
was
a
3 hours and 50 minutes.
59 minutes.
But it's not quite 4 hours, is it? It's 3 hours, 59 minutes.
Oh my god.
So we did 4 hours of streaming, basically. Packed away, got into Packers Army, said goodbyes, came home, and I was like, I woke up this morning, I felt like I've been on night shift for a week. I was fucked. I was so tired. Mr. the Stick Monkey, thank you so much for 5 of the finest gifted memberships. He didn't join us last night.
Well, busy man.
Because it was his birthday.
Yeah.
Look, you get a birthday every year, right? Every year you get a birthday. 7 years we've been doing YouTube. Once we've had Peachy on. You made the wrong choice, Sean. But thank you for the 5 gifted anyway. Madlarkin666, welcome to Jarl tier member. You're a hero. Love you. Thank you so much for becoming a member. If you are a Skull tier member or you've been gifted a Skull tier member, you can upgrade to Jarl for another less than 50%. It's another £4, right? You get up to Jarl tier member. And once a month, we launch a Jarl's only giveaway in the Discord server. And if you're a Jarl tier member, it's free to enter. You just click the button. And if you are the winner, selected at random at the very end of the month, normally the last day of the month, if you are the lucky person who wins that particular giveaway, you win a combat patrol box of your choice, or you can select a Vanguard or Spearhead from AOS if you'd rather, because they're about the same in terms of like cost, etc. What's your question about? I realised you said you had a question specifically about. We're talking about narrative, fun, peachy, peachy, more peachy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I got a question about Joe's diarrhea.
Yeah. So, if it's urgent enough that he needs to do it at the side of the road with his head poking out of a bush, why did he have time to take his shoes and socks off?
Considering it was a rainy, windy, shitty day yesterday, I'm impressed he had time to take shoes and socks off.
Did he put his socks back on? With
I'm also wondering why he
feet?
needed to take his shoes and socks off, and what kind of squat he's performing to require the need to take shoes and socks off. Because surely what you do is you find like a fence, you just hang off the fence, lean back. Yeah. Unless it was so splatterful that he's worried about it getting up the back of his legs and stuff.
And did he find the right kind of leaf to wipe with? Because grabbing a stinging nettle at midnight is easily done.
I did also receive another message from Joe, right?
Okay.
He's going to hate the fact that I'm sharing this, but it's hilarious, so I am. Here, I had another message from Joe. That was this morning. I told you that was this morning at 8:25, right? And then this morning, where was it? This afternoon, I got another message from him. Hang on. Where is it? No,
He'll probably think twice about wearing a belt and buttons.
At 14:13 this afternoon, so at 2:15 this afternoon, I had another message from out of the blue. I trusted a fart. All is safe and clean.
If he brings norovirus down here,
I mean,
he's in so much trouble.
Wee Man, thank you for 5 gifted memberships. You're a hero. Up to 74 of the finest memberships. We're 26 away for our members target. We're halfway through the super chat target. You people are incredible. Thank you so much for all your amazing support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Genuinely, thank you so much for all your amazing support yesterday during the game as well. 508 people watching us live is no mean feat. That's an impressive number of people watching us live. Like, I love it. Thank you so much.
It's been answered about the shoes and socks coming off.
Okay.
Socks equals toilet roll.
Well, yeah, because you can put it on your hand, don't you? And you just put it off inside out.
Was he a responsible toilet goer and took his litter home with him? Or are there Joe's socks strewn about the motorway somewhere?
Don't tell them that. They'll go and find them. So hang on. We have 508 was peak there. We didn't beat that in March. 408 was our peak in March. Literally 100 people higher than our peak in March, right? February, our peak was 419. January, our peak was 461. No, 488.
What does shotgunning yourself mean?
Oh no, he wasn't our highest. Our highest one was 500. How the fuck did we get 537 on that day? Anyway. He doesn't actually hold the record, I've just realised. What do you mean shotgunning yourself? Who says that?
So Gaz has put, if he had spread his cheeks, it's apparently less risk of a brown on brown moment, i.e. shotgunning oneself. What does that mean?
No. Brilliant.
Shotgun.
Couldn't watch live was in Essex with the family. I will let you off, Mr. the Wee Man. I will let you off. I'll let you off if you're in with the family. I watched the game last night. I was confused as fuck, but loved every minute. You don't. I don't. It's. I think we're. All right, Jill,
Peach.
Peach. I for the longest time looking up at my screen thought you just put a love heart in chat. I didn't realize you'd actually put Peach in there. Thank you, Jill, for the 10. You're a legend. I think peak content is when.
I especially love the thematic army build. Custodes send one guy off and max one squad on a world. Marines send a squad to change a war zone with guard, etc.
I think we might see some more out in the future, Ben. Thank you so much for the 9, man. You're a hero. But yeah, I think peak content, this is something I learned from PlayOn when I collaborated with them in the past and did a lot of talking to them. I think for me, peak content is when people cannot understand what's going on but find it entertaining. Like, that's really, really good. So, like, Kai, actually, I would go as far as to say what you've said there is a monumental compliment, and you're amazing. Because if people could not understand the game and what's happening but enjoy the content and find it funny, potentially we open ourselves up to possibly to a wider audience in the future. Like, if people could watch and laugh, I feel like people could probably watch the chat plays game with Joe telling spells and laugh. Not knowing the game, just find it funny, right? Tomorrow's Peachy's stream, is it?
Jill ended up having a stressful day, so she didn't watch it tomorrow.
Oh, I get it. ZJ55, thank you for becoming a Haskell tier member. Look at all these people joining all by themselves. You're all amazing. You're all amazing people. Amazing, 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 amazing. I was due to catch up on Peachy's stream this afternoon. My review morning turned into a crisis firefighting day. Much joy. Work sucks, right? Real life work sucks. But yeah, big shout out to Peachy. If you haven't already, has everybody in chat subscribed to his channel? Say yes if you've subscribed to his channel. If you haven't, then you're fucking very naughty. Hang on, let me find him. I am hanging out my arse today as well. So I copy that.
I might have one of my binocular pies after this.
The mini ones. I might join you. I also might just shower and go to bed. There you go. I pinned his channel just in case. Just in case. Anyway, that was incredible. He was amazing.
Need to get him back in the studio. It was a great time to
Well,
watch.
like I said, he's asked to come back. He's asked to come back. So I've just pinned his channel name in chat. Click the link. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have some spare dollaroos, become a patron of his channel. I think he's got more fucking patrons than we've got permanent members nowadays. But then he'll like, I said to him when he launched his own channel back in whenever it was, March or something, I was like, you will have more subs than us in no time at all. Peachy's one of these really humble guys who's like, no, mate, it will take me like at least a year to even get close to catching you up. He's on like 29,000 already. But he's just one of those who's like, nah, it'll take me ages to get there. It'll take me ages to get there. And you know what? He's near enough already there. And he's amazing. And he deserves all of it. Why are we doing Blink songs? Is it Dandy Deadpool that started it?
Yeah.
So yeah, Peachy was incredible. So big shout out to Peachy, like massive, massive, massive legend for coming and being such a good sport and playing the way that we love it and playing the way that we intend the game to be played. What a fucking hero. So next step, how many people have watched the Mr. the Warhipster interview? I know Plastic and Paint and Billy Gilmore went and watched it because they're not members, so they can't watch it until Saturday. But how many people watched the Mr. the Warhipster interview? Because I feel like that was a really good interview as well. Although Joe was there for that interview, Joe sat next to for that interview, and he came through about halfway. Because I said to Joe on that one, so we did the first one with James, and Joe wasn't available, right? So we just did the interview, and then on the second interview, I was like, the format might work better. It might work better if it's just me interviewing the one person. And like Joe was like, I can sit out, I don't mind. I was like, well, it's up to you. Do you want to be in it or not? And eventually he got to the point where he was like, you know what, I won't be in it. You interview him, it's fine. I've got the stream tonight. This was with Josh. And Joe and Josh are friends. So it's quite a lot. It's quite big for Joe to be like, I'll sit out. And we did the first like hour or so of the stream of the interview with Josh. And Joe came through and was like, I think it's good I don't sit in. Because this is quite serious. And I struggle with being serious. So, yeah. I watched it this afternoon. Have now. Warhipster interview was class. Oh, good. That was my next question. Was did you enjoy it? Loved it. He was so much fun last night. My other half came in and said, "Who's the thumb? He's fucking brilliant." I don't know if he liked being called a thumb guy. Peachy was superb in playing a game live. It didn't feel like watching golf, but like hanging out with a buddy. Perfect. That was a great interview. Good range of topics too. Watching the Warhips interview in bits between work and your live streams. Like, oh, why did you care? You're a legend. Thank you so much. You people are incredible. Look at this. You lovely people you are. The Warhip interview was something else. Great topics with real heartfelt responses. Really good interview. Keep them coming. Good job. I am really enjoying the interview series. Really enjoying the interview series. Like monumental. Like I feel like it's rapidly becoming my favourite type of content to do. Yeah. It's one of the very, 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 very rare occasions where I'm like, I'm alright at this. I can do this.
I'm alright at this.
Alright, this one. Yeah, not bad.
That'll do big.
That'll do big, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Spoke to the missus, mate. She loved him. She was transfixed. Good. So it's 10 repeated 4 times. What? What's 10 repeated 4 times?
The na 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 na. The Blink 182 bit. The bridge. Is it the chorus or is it the bridge?
All the small things.
Yeah.
I used to be able to play that on the guitar. I was playing it the other day when I was doing the practicing.
The guitar.
I wasn't very good because I'm out of practice, but I was doing it on the guitar. Siege Roots, thank you so much for 5 more gifted, up to 80. Ah! Thank you so much, Siege Roots, you're amazing. Danny Dibble, who would you like on next? There's that's a feasible list. I'm currently waiting for Mr. the Kirioth end of this week to message me. I spoke to him briefly yesterday. I'm going to try and get him on next month. I'd like to see if Varak would come down. I'd like to see if Mikey'd be interested. I want to see if Daryl wants to come on from Laser Cut because I think that'd be interesting.
We need a bit.
I want to get Malcolm on from Models for Heroes. That'd be interesting.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, obviously I'd like some other big names in the community as well. But I think some of these are probably. I feel like because I want to ask Louise, who's one of Peach's friends. I want to ask people like Lawrence, other people like that to come on the show.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like I need to add some gravitas first and be like, hey, here's the portfolio of content so far. They're good shows. I like to think they're high quality interviews. You were with me 4.5 hours sat here editing it, maybe longer.
Yeah.
To get it so I felt like it looked good.
Yeah.
So I'm trying very hard to make them look like professional interviews that we touch on serious topics. We have a laugh and a giggle, but we touch on serious topics. And so I feel like I need a bit of a repertoire before I go to some of the bigger people as well.
Who is a person you'd like to interview that has nothing to do with Warhammer?
Oh, that's interesting. I've never thought of that. I mean, is there any limit on?
Okay, movie star.
Movie star.
Yeah.
That's even harder. I don't really know any movie stars.
God, man. Okay, band or singer.
Why would I interview those people? I don't understand.
Because it's like a bucket list, isn't it? Who would you like to interview that's got nothing to do with 40k and ask them the same kind of questions that you're asking?
Corey Taylor.
Who's that?
Lead singer Slipknot.
That's not who I thought you'd say.
Who do you think I'd say?
Eminem.
I feel like he's done more interview content throughout his music career than Corey Taylor has. Corey Taylor's obviously done musical interview content.
Okay.
But I think I'd ask Corey Taylor. Because they've also been through their own trials and tribulations. They've got, the people that play in the band now aren't the people that started. Yeah. There's been a death or 2, I think, as well. I think that'd be interesting. There's people. If you could interview anyone in the world, 3 people you could interview in the world chat. Who's it going to be? I think I'd want to interview Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great one.
I think I'd want to interview Clarkson. 100% I'd want to interview Clarkson. Absolutely. Because he's such a Marmite character, and he's legitimately hated by so many people.
Yeah.
I'd love to know how he deals with that.
Dad was telling me a story. He had the briefest of interviews with Clarkson a million years ago. And he said he was the nicest guy. He had a suitcase. He was on his way to the car, and Dad said, "Could I just grab you for a couple of questions?" And Jeremy put his suitcase down and said, "Yes, of course. What would you like to ask?" And he said that he didn't make him feel like, oh, an annoying interview. I'm trying to get to my car. He was just so friendly, and it was the briefest of interviews.
So Clarkson, Gervais, and then probably Jim Carrey.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I thought Jim Carrey would be really interesting, isn't he? That'd be my three.
Carrey.
Who's your three, chat? Who's your three? Anyone in the world? Who's your three people you'd interview if you could interview anyone? Yeah, that's probably the three I'd go for, I reckon. It's hard, actually.
Ray's chosen Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'd love to interview Samuel L. Jackson for movie star as well, actually thinking about it.
I reckon he's funny.
I reckon it'd be a laugh. It's interesting. Morgan Freeman as well. Isn't it true that Morgan Freeman didn't get his first serious acting role till he was like 40-something?
Oh, really?
Is that true? I think that's true. I'm sure I've read that somewhere.
That might be true.
I've always considered a career in acting, so it means there's hope for me yet.
There's hope for you yet. 4 more years and then that's it.
Then the hope's gone.
The hope's gone.
For a split second, I was like, Kelly Clarkson. Oh, God, no. Luton will be an interesting interview. I'd love to get Luton on as well. But again, I mean, I know Luton a bit. I'm still yet to arrange a game with him in the studio, which is a relaxed off-camera day, which I'm going to do at some point. But thing is, Luton's a really nice guy, and I've talked to him a fair amount, and he's come here for a cup of tea, and we all that kind of stuff. I don't want him to be in a position where he's like, he only wants to interview me because I've got however many thousand subs. Like, I don't want to be that person. I want to interview these people because they've got interesting things to talk about, not because how many people am I going to be put in front of. So I feel like if there's a channel out there, so Daryl, right? Let's take Daryl for example. Okay. Now I fucking love Daryl. I don't know if he's in chat right now, but I love Daryl. Am I gaining really any subs at all by interviewing him? Absolutely fucking not. Not really. Because he doesn't have 50,000 people or 100,000 people on YouTube. Do I care? Do I fuck? I think he'd be interesting to talk to. Legitimately very interesting to talk to about what he does and how he approaches like terrain design, all that kind of stuff. So I don't feel like I'm going to get monumental amounts of subscribers from someone like Daryl. So, but then I feel like he wants to interview me because it'll be an interesting interview. Poor old Luton, I reckon, probably gets 1 billion people that want him involved in their content, but they want him involved in their content because they want exposure to his audience.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to ever feel that way. I want to interview people because I want to hear about their interesting topics and their interesting like life experiences, etc. Pablo Escobar, Gandhi, and the creator of the Smurfs. That's an interesting. Okay, that took a turn at the end. Ewan McGregor would be good. Stalin, Genghis Khan, and Hitler, says Richard C. Oh dear. Watch Richard, people. We might be planning to take over the world. Marina, Bricky, and Mangalore Gaming. I don't know, that was a tough one. I don't know they are. Kim Jong-un, Joe Rogan, Elmo. Joe Rogan would be interesting, actually, to be honest with you. Do you know what? There's a little part of me that would like to interview Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
I'd be such a cunt. Tony Winnick, thank you so much for the 20 gifted. Up to 100. You're amazing. Thank you so much. You're a hero, Tony. Morgan Freeman, Charlie Sheen, and Scarlett Johansson. I'd like to interview Charlie Hunnam, just because I fucking obsess over
I did
Sons of
wonder
Anarchy.
if you'd say someone like Tom Hardy.
Oh, I'd like.
Yeah.
I like a bit of Tom Hardy.
Yeah. I still remember the WhatsApp group I was in. There was a public service announcement when Tom Hardy was reading BBC bedtime stories.
I'm sure it was.
It was, Mums of the world unite. Get the kids in bed by this time.
Brian Cox would be interesting. 100% he would be interesting. Robin Williams would be great as well, actually. So Christopher Lee and David Attenborough. Oh, I love it. Look at these people. Oh, there's so many interesting people in the world. Maybe that could be my spin-off now. I can do normal interviews with anyone. I'm sure it won't take much to get Jimmy Carr in the studio in Southampton.
I've met him. He's quite nice.
I wonder if there's a way, like...
He's taller than you think he is.
Because there's a show that you've watched in the past, and I've also seen this on YouTube, and I can't remember the guy's name who runs the show, but there's a show called Diary of a CEO.
Ah.
And he interviews big-name people.
Yes, he does.
Like really big-name people. But I'm like, how did he start? How did he get the first interview?
The last one I watched of him was a guy that worked for Google that was telling us why AI is a bad idea, and then I turned off my computer and went and sat in a dark room for half an hour and pondered my future.
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch anymore. Too scary.
He does incredibly interesting interviews, but I wonder how you ever get to a point where you can interview those kinds of people. I'd love to do that. I'd love to interview those kinds of people. I'd like to interview Piers Morgan.
The trouble is,
I like to interview people that are hated. Carry on.
The trouble is with the guy from Diary of a CEO, the more he grows, the more intelligent his vocabulary gets, and then he kind of prices out people like me. because I can't watch it anymore. I've
struggle
got
to keep
no
up.
idea what
Yeah.
he's talking about anymore.
Yeah.
And then I feel really sad because then I think, well, surely it was people like me that watched you, that got your watchers minutes and your likes and your subs, and now we've got no idea what you're talking about anymore.
I think there's a concern for a lot of people in terms of any kind of content creator that kind of starts from the bottom, essentially, like like we have or whatever, that when they reach a certain point in their journey, there is a risk that those people change. Now, typically in the Warhammer world, because we're much smaller and we have a much smaller niche, I think that concern normally sits at around the 100,000 sub mark. So when you get to 100,000 subscribers, potentially at the point you get to 100,000 subscribers, you might start to be like, I'm a big dick now because I've got 100,000 subs, and therefore potentially behave differently. I was very conscious and keen. I know it's not quite the same, but I was very conscious and keen that we didn't change the way we behaved when we moved into the new studio. Because I was like, I don't want us to become these pretentious, look at us dickheads in this big fancy studio. I want us to just be the normal dickheads that we always are. But we're
the
in
non-fancy
but we have a more freeing creative space, is the way I'd probably put it.
Yeah.
And I think that with Diary of the CEO, people like that, like I feel like some of those people, they probably had a turning point where they went from small time person to I'm a big fish now.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, but I think it happens. I think sometimes some people handle it really well. So I watch a tech YouTuber called Marquez.
Look up The Family Jewels by Marina and the Diamonds.
I will, thank you, Alec, ma'am. There's a tech YouTuber I watch called Marquez Brownlee, who reviews phones and laptops and computers and stuff. Now he's done interviews with Bill Gates and Elon Musk and people like that. So he's a YouTuber, right? He's shown his very first ever videos on YouTube of him in his bedroom reviewing something with a potato camera, and it's terrible when he's like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And you see that, and now he's interviewed, like I say, Elon Musk and people like Bill Gates and stuff like that. Like some of the biggest, most well-known people in the world, he's interviewed those. And I feel like when you watch his content, despite the fact that it's light years away from where it was 20 years ago, or however long ago it was when YouTube started, he still kind of feels like the same person.
Yeah, he's very. All that's happened is his hair's a bit different, his clothes are a bit more expensive, but he still talks the same. He hasn't turboed up his jargon. He's still
He's still very relatable from his original content, right?
And he's so easy to listen to. His voice is like caramel.
And I think some people will feel this. To be honest with you, to some extent, I feel like some people feel like there's a pressure on them to step it up a level because they've hit a higher sub count or a higher view count or whatever it might be, or a more professional like studio space, and they'll go. And this is what I said to you guys before, right? Joe was like this a little bit actually. When we moved into the studio, I need to get better at my intros. I was like, you don't. You absolutely don't.
Change a thing.
Just be you, because that's all people want. Be you, and I think that's important. Joe pooed in the bush. He did, John. We're still there, are we? We're still there. Perfect. I think you should interview loose form in a professional. God, no. No. Who would hate on anything that made them millionaires? Hey, what? Took the youngest out for a walk, and I do mean child, not pet. Oh, you took the... Okay, I'm too tired for you lot to write
Taking
chat.
a kid's on a walk.
Bullshit, I know. Ernie Els, A.B. de Villiers, Gray Player, Gary Player, all family friends of my dad. Amazing. How far apart were the pood in time? I don't know. I don't know the detail, John. I've just shared it with the whole world so that you can all ridicule him tomorrow night on stream. He won't have any idea that I've told you, and you can just bring it up on stream tomorrow. He has an amazing ability to feel natural as well, making clearly spoken opinions backed with evidence. Who's that, Gaz? Marquez. Oh, it's Dave, Joe Shatterhedge. Brilliant. Because John said, good evening, one and all. So, starts the baby shift. What have I missed? And Dave put, Joe Shatterhedge. Brilliant. Brilliant. Amazing. I think I'd love to have like a spin-off channel of proper interviews with proper people, but I don't know how you'd ever start with anyone with any kind of weight or gravitas. But I feel like there's an argument to say that it's being done to death now as well, though. The whole podcast interview format with important people. There's this other I can't remember what her name is. This other YouTuber that she does it, and it's fucking awful content. She's just a bitch. Just like this Mardy, fucking sarcastic, dry-toned bitch the whole time. Oh, I can't remember what her name is.
Is she an interviewer?
Yeah, I need to find it. It's fucking it's gone like viral, and I hate it. I can't remember her name anyway. Truthfully, that's what attracted me to your channel. The dynamics between you and Joe feel so authentic and has such good vibes. I just want to feel part of it. That's amazing, Dax. To be fair, right? Joe got the job because he is actually relatively quick and efficient at building and painting, which was something we definitely needed for the channel. He'd done streams before, and I remember the first thing I ever saw him do on Vanguard Tactics, I'll never forget this. It was the first time I'd been to help out on one of the streams and sort of co-presented or was there at least as part of the stream. And Joe was introducing an army or something in an army. I can't remember the exact army or what it was doing. And he was talking about this particular ability that this particular unit could do, right? Now, if you know VT and you know Steve, what he likes to do is pull out all the fun and personality and then give you the video. So he doesn't like anything that's like a bit edgy. So Joe was talking about this ability, which this thing could do in melee, so close combat with hand-to-hand combat weapons. And then he said, he turned and he looked at camera and said, it's a tabletop equivalent of taking a cricket bat into a playground. And I fucking died with laughter. And I was like, he's my people. He's my people, right? Steve fuming immediately, right? Instantly fucking fuming. And I was like, so, but he's done it. He said it live, innit? And that's the beauty of live streams.
Can't take it out.
And so that was one of my first proper interactions with Joe. So I started to get to know him because he was working at Factorum. So I know he'd been on stream before. I knew he had my sense of humour. I knew he could build and paint to a relatively reasonable standard quite quickly. So for me, he was the perfect fit, and that's why we brought him in. But in very, very short time, he became an incredibly close friend because that dynamic that you're watching, Dax, is a genuine dynamic. Like, the way that we are off camera is the same as the way we are on camera. There's not really any difference.
No.
So, despite what he says, I'm maybe a bit nicer to him off camera. Maybe. Where is the wildest place you've pooed? Says John. No context allowed. Just name a place. I'll go first. Saddam Hussein's son's palace swimming pool, devoid of water. That's a place.
Why?
That's a place. It would be amazing to have someone from the rules team of GW on for an interview.
Do you reckon that would ever happen, that someone in GW gets the okay? Would you want it?
There is some desire from some people inside Games Workshop to come and get involved and do those sorts of interviews. Some desire from some people. At the moment, management are flat no. It's not going to happen ever.
It's probably quite standard.
The thing that would concern me is if they started to loosen the grip slightly and allow people to go out and do these interviews. I think the thing that would really concern me, and some of this is based on knowledge and experience, is so for example, I did the War Hipster interview, which is now up there. We touched on some really sensitive subjects. And there's a couple of moments where I felt like he looked a bit uncomfortable with what we were talking about, and we talked about it anyway. And I said to him, "Are you happy that it goes up?" And he went, "Yes." The interview I did with Peachy yesterday, we touched on some sensitive subjects, some of them from within his career at Warhammer World and some of his experiences. I said to him after the fact, "Are you happy or uncomfortable with what we talked about?" He said yes. I feel like what will happen in a GW interview, so say you're a rules writer, say Luce is the rules writer, Luce comes down to the Great Hall for an interview. I interview. I know for a fact that one of the things that will be a stipulation will be we must see the edit before you post it, which is fine. It's pretty standard actually. For any company that works in content, pretty standard, especially if it's like sponsored content, it's pretty standard to ask to see a proof before it gets posted to make sure you're happy with it and you haven't given any false information or anything like that, right? My concern would be that they would have too much creative control over the final edit.
Yeah.
That's my big concern. And I would want to be the person who does the interview and records, but I also want to be the executive producer, the person who authorizes, and I want to put out what I want to put out. Yeah. Right? Now I get it. I get them being concerned that someone might doctor something together that then goes out with actually false information. Okay. And we because you can be selective, because you can cut things. Right. I use 3 different camera angles. It's not that difficult for me to lose content and no one will know I've lost it. genuinely not that difficult.
Yeah.
In the War Hipster interview, there's a complete toilet break that no one knows exists. No one knows exists. There's another one that does know exists because Josh goes, "Can I have a wee?" And I'm like, I couldn't cut that out. But there's one bit where he pauses as he's speaking, and I stop for a minute, and he looks at me a bit confused, and I was like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom, but I put that pause in for the edit. I was like, okay, so I go use the bathroom, come back, sit back down, pause, look at him, and then just carry on. And I chop it all out, knit it together, use 2 different camera angles, so there's no jump in the image. So I cut from him, cut to me. You have no idea that ever happened. And what you could do, if you had someone from GW in, a rules writer, a Stu Black, someone from the studio, it doesn't matter who you have. If you have someone in, what you could do is you could record a bunch of bits that you could edit together with multiple camera angles, and you could have him responding to something that he wasn't responding to that could then put them in trouble, right? So I get them wanting to see a final edit. My concern is they'd be like, take that out, take that out, take that out, take that out. And in the end, what you do is you end up with an interview. Like, do you remember the interviews that some of the YouTubers did with the design studio around the launch of 10th edition? Scripted to fuck they were. And they say they weren't. I've been told they weren't. Watch them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So how did a team go about designing 10th edition? Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's in Warcom. Fuck off. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's bollocks. It's bollocks content. And the amount of people that put those interviews up that then subsequently got slated for the interviews because they weren't what people were asking. They weren't what the questions people were asking. Like one of my questions would have been, how do you justify launching a rule set? And on day one, you've already got a 19-page clarification document for that rule set. How do you justify that? That's the question I wanted to ask. I've been told I wouldn't have been allowed to ask that question.
There's not even a single swear word in it.
Yeah.
There's no swears.
Yeah. I was also asked, why are you all cunts? I wasn't allowed to ask that either.
Well, they might have needed context for that one because that's such a broad term.
Yeah.
Like,
But
which part exactly?
So do I think they'll get to a point where they may start allowing some people to come and interview with other channels? I actually genuinely think they will get there eventually. I don't know how long, but I think at some point they'll get there. My biggest concern is the early iterations of that will be so heavily restricted and so heavily doctored that it won't actually be a genuine representation, and anything negative will be removed, and at that point it becomes disingenuous, and there's no real soul to it at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not what it actually is. Because I'd like to sit, I would murder a man to be able to sit down with the Games Workshop rules writing team and ask them the genuine questions that we're all thinking. You know, how and on this earth can you even remotely close to consider calling this rule set simplified? Because it's not. You know, that's the sort of questions I'd like to ask them. Like, what was the design ethos behind doing this? Why have you felt this need to fuck all these players over? There's lots of little questions I'd like to ask. Why did you... and I think that the other problem you have with Games Workshop specifically as well is that because of the way that the GW works at Warhammer World, and because they're all siloed different departments, what you might actually end up doing is asking a person a question it's not actually their decision or even remotely involved in. Yeah. So, for example, when they legended all the heresy stuff out of 40k at the start of 10th edition, one of the things they said was heresy stuff's going to heresy and 40k stuff staying in 40k, and that's what we're doing. But all the heresy Imperial Knights have stayed in 40k, which is probably because they're £120 kits, so they can sell big expensive kits to people in 40k. So the likelihood is if I ask the rules person that, he's going to go, whoa, hang on, that wasn't me. That was marketing that did that. It wasn't me that said that. Marketing made that up. And then I don't want to, I don't think it'll ever actually happen. I don't think, no, that's a lie. I do think it will happen. I think it will take a very long time. And I think that there's a risk that what will happen is they'll open the doors a little bit and go, oh, we don't like that, stop. We don't like that. Don't like that kind of exposure. You would interview Matt Ward and Robin Cruduts. I'd love to interview both those people. I've not met. I think I have met Matt Ward. I've definitely met Robin. Lots of little questions. How could you fuck it up this bad? Kai says the worst one was Tabletop Tactics. They seriously thought it was good. That did it for me. It was complete dog shit, and I was paying for it. Oh wow. Sorry about that, Kai. I don't think I've seen theirs. I remember that the Titans Discord took all the bits of Adrian nodding and put it into a single video.
Tox Trio has said, what about having someone from the rules team for an actual game? Can't see that going wrong. Should we apply the loose new rule set?
Well, I said to
Like, well, you both know the rules. These are the new rules.
at the very start, very early on in the stream last night, Peachy was like, so we've got Peachy here, formerly of Games Workshop fame. We're playing 10th edition. He doesn't really know the rules, like current Games Workshop employees. And he was like, oh wow, we've started immediately. I'm afraid we have. Strap in.
Welcome to the jungle.
Anyway, 20 minutes chat. If you've got any burning questions or things you want to chuck at me, stick them on postcards. We're about halfway through my normal super chat based goal. I am aware that a lot of you spaffed your load last night though, and I very much appreciate it, so thank you so much. But if you want to stick big colourful postcards on it, it significantly helps us. It really supports the channel. Obviously, a monumental thank you to Tony for the 20 gifted. You are an absolute legend. Thank you so much, Tony. I didn't mean to skip over that, but we were talking at the time. Thank you so much for getting us to 100 members. You're amazing. There's been new people that have subscribed since those 20 gifted, so it might be that they're a result of those 20 gifted. If it's not a result of those 20 gifted, then it might be that they're grey names who want memberships as well, right? So you can still ! Gift if you want as well. Yes, my dear, you have your arm up.
I have a question.
Okay, 17, Your Honour.
If it wasn't Warhammer you were streaming, what would the other game be that you were streaming? So you were always going to be on YouTube streaming a game, but it won't be Warhammer. What would be the other game you'd stream?
What, tabletop game?
Is it remotely close to Warhammer?
I don't play any other games.
So you wouldn't be streaming any other game? If you couldn't play Warhammer?
Like...
Chess? Cars?
No one's Cars?
Well, Magic gets streamed.
What's that for a game? Oh, cards.
Here is what we want as an interview style. Joe one side, Liam the other side, and an uncomfortable guest sandwiched between them in a hot tub. Grom sat in the background serving drinks from a tiki bar.
We'll get there one day, Amholio. We'll get there one day. 100%. I don't play any other tabletop games, and I don't think there's anything else. If I did play anything else, I don't think I'd want to stream it. We've tried streaming video games, which actually for a time was quite enjoyable. That is actually quite fucking tedious, though.
I find that really interesting because Warhammer is far more effort than a video game. The game's already laid out for you.
I think like video games, modern day, is a little bit more junk foody. Right?
Yeah.
Easy pick up, easy put down.
Yeah.
Okay. Warhammer is that meal that you spend the day crafting. Okay. So when you sit down to Warhammer, obviously we're talking in metaphors now, but when you sit down to Warhammer, you spent a lot of time crafting that. You want to make the most of it. So when you sit down to a carefully made, like home cooked meal with multiple courses, you want to take your time, you want to enjoy the meal, you want to savor it, right? Because it's lots of effort, lots of time has gone into crafting this meal. You want to have a nice stuff. Or even if we go out to a nice restaurant, right? Do you go out to a nice restaurant, smash the fucking starter down your face as fast as possible, eat your main course as fast as possible, shot your dessert and fuck off? You don't normally, do you?
Well, it depends on how much they want the table.
No, well, yeah, but what you do is you'll sit down, you'll enjoy your starter, you'll have a break, you'll order some more drinks, you'll have your main course, you'll be chatting, you'll enjoy your dinner, right? And that's Warhammer 40k, right? Video games are much more McDonald's. They're junk food. They're get your chips and burger, eat, fuck off. That's what video games are, and they're very pick up, put down, pick up, put down, pick up, put down. So, from my perspective, I'm aware we're tumbling really deep down this metaphor hole right now. But from my perspective, Warhammer is that 3-course meal. You take time to build and craft it because you have to get your armies ready. You have to build a list. You have to make your table. You have to pick your mission. All that kind of stuff. And video gaming is I turn on, and within 5 minutes I'm playing a game. And if I'm bored, just turn it off, pick a different game. And I don't have to put my army away, take the table down, put a new table up, build a new mission. I just go shut that one, open that one. And so that's why I find that it actually got quite boring.
Sounds like the thing that actually has more of an instant gratification isn't all that stimulating.
Instant gratification normally isn't lasting gratification. Normally in life in general.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Even a chocolate bar. Chocolate bar is instant gratification.
Yeah.
10 minutes after that chocolate bar, it's reasonable that you could have forgot you've ever had the chocolate bar.
That's the thing, apparently. Junk food, we eat it so quickly that our brains sometimes don't register that we've actually eaten a full meal. We think it's a snack because we ate it so quickly.
Yeah. So like instant gratification is normally not lasting gratification. It's just a fact.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because all you hear is it's instant gratification, and you think, well, it sounds like the game that's kind of like months of prep, which would put many people off, versus switching on a console.
Right, yeah, okay. But again, right, chocolate bar. How long does it take to eat your chocolate bar? Milliseconds, and it's done, right? I mean, Luce basically snorts it. Gone, whole thing, right? It's when I saw a whole whisper. I was like, that's my wife in the future. That's my wife.
Warhammer is beef Wellington. Change my mind.
exactly, Elec man. Lots of crafting. Got to get that meat right. Got to make the mush. Exactly. Oh, yeah. I fucking love a beef Wellington. It's been too long. So you inhale a chocolate bar in seconds few, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's done. You've had, let's be kind, you've had 2 minutes of satisfaction, like the wedding night.
Can't do it.
You've had two.
You just can't do it.
You've had 2 minutes.
You can't be the grown-up I need you to be and stay away from the cheap laughs.
You've had 2 minutes of eating your whisper, right? And then you're done. Right, yeah. Wrappers in the bin. I'm carrying on with whatever I'm doing now. Back to that 3-course meal. How long will you sit there for on a 3-course meal normally, on average?
Yeah, probably about at least an hour.
Hour and a half normally as an average is what I would say, right? About half an hour-ish per course, roughly speaking, with the gaps in between. You sat there for an hour and a half for a 3-course meal normally, right? Yeah. So one is instant gratification over really quickly. One is an instant gratification. It's lots of little gratifications. Your starter, your nice glass of wine, your main course, your dessert, your coffee and biscuits or whatever you do, right? Mm-hmm. So that one lasts longer. It's like slow release versus fast release. Simple sugars, complex sugars. I've gone far too deep down the food one now, Jack. We're there. That's what we're doing. That's what we're talking about. So yeah, instant gratification is great. Video games are very, very good at instant gratification quite often. And what we've got used to, I think, in modern day, is you've got used to those really fast, really quick serotonin hits, like dopamine hits, sorry. And the fucking your transmitters fire immediately. And second, like how do so many games, apps, TV shows get kids hooked on them? They go dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine. Kids like, this is fucking great. And then they just want that constant dopamine hit all the time.
Practically vibrating. I'm like, oh my god.
And we're even coming away from like even video games going like Warzones. We take Warzone for example. It's 20 minutes of high paced action, dopamine. And what I used to enjoy was games that would be 30, 40 hours long, and you're taking a long time to build your character and explore the world, but it's not quite so dopamine straight away.
I don't understand how the war games are dopamine for you. It's just stressful for me. I'm not even playing it, but I'm hearing all the things I can hear. It's just stressful.
Some of it. So the thing is, on things like Warzone, as an example, because that's when you brought up. It only takes that one win to happen, and you get that massive dopamine hit from that one win, and then you're chasing that constantly afterwards. You're chasing that dopamine hit again and that win, right? And so the stress that then occurs afterwards is a result of you chasing that win. So what games like that will often do is in the early stages, they have a thing called SBMM, skill-based matchmaking. In the early stages, you'll be put in lobbies where you'll be better than most of the people in the lobby, and they'll feed you that dopamine hit. They'll start that drug going. And then slowly but surely, you get as you level up and you rank up throughout the game, they put you in more and more difficult situations. So it becomes harder and harder, but you're still chasing that dopamine hit.
Stressful.
And a lot of what other games will then do, and this is an unfortunate thing, I don't think Warzone did this as such. In fact, almost definitely, maybe a little bit it did, is they'll go, oh, you're struggling at this point. Well, here's this thing you can buy that makes this point slightly easier. Because you're still chasing that dopamine hit. That's how microtransactions came into it.
Mario would never do me dirty like
that. B Ravens, Liam, question for you. Does it ever cause you any anxiety when you realise how many lives you have possibly to touch with this channel? Like, oh my god, why do these people care what I say? Every fucking day. We had this conversation at the Thanes chat, right? Before every stream there's anxiety. Every single stream, every single day there's anxiety. I need to make sure I put on a good show. I need to make sure I entertain people. I need to make sure I don't say anything too controversial that people genuinely really get upset. I need to make sure that if I influence a person's decision, I haven't influenced them to make an irresponsible decision, or that I haven't got them to buy something they're then going to hate. If I say, this Luminous set's beautiful, go and buy it, I then get anxious that you're going to go and buy it and be like, I actually think this is shit, but Liam told me to buy it. I'd feel actually a degree of guilt if that was the case. Yeah. Never get that dopamine. I play salamanders in 30k. I have zero chance of winning. You play salamanders in 30k, Leon? You don't go on about it. There's science to McDonald's that's their food can be in 7 bites, which your mind translate to I've not eaten enough, so you want to go back and order more. I believe that. There was also apparently there was a thing about how much salt they use in their food and their chips to make you go and buy the drinks, which are more expensive than watered down.
And is it true that a small Coke actually fits in a large Coke if you put the ice in?
I actually don't know.
There's no more.
I've seen like the thing is you see like Instagram reels and TikToks about things like that. Well, I actually don't know if any of that's actually true at all, or if it's just Instagram reels and TikToks. There's a bunch of stuff you see on Instagram reels and TikToks. So if you do it in real life, you're going to damage something or hurt yourself. Because it's mostly bollocks for clicks. That's the problem. Because you know what? Dopamine hit. That's why. God, I'm a masochist. Have no fear. If I think a kit is shit, I'll let you know and not buy it. Beautiful. Oh, well, so me too. Like getting us hyped for 10. Shut up, Carl. We're going to forget about that, mate. All right. I think that's an oversimplification of video games. Ever had a Baldur's Gate 3? So this is the thing, Electman, right? So there's video games out there that still don't go for that instant dopamine hit. 100%. Baldur's Gate being one of them. Star Field when it was started working. Like one of them, you have to get hours and hours in before you start unlocking some of the more sort of rewarding stuff. So there's definitely games out there that still tick those like slow release boxes. What I'm saying is quick release is more addictive to us as humans in general. And I think that 40k for me has and always will be one of those slow release boxes on the whole. You could like building a model is a few hours, it's not 2 minutes and you're done. You know, so that's a slow release satisfaction. Painting a model, slow release, takes ages. Playing a game, 2 to 3 hours, slow release. It's all slow release. And I think slow release is more beneficial to us in general, I think, to be honest with you. You influenced me by giving me tickets to Factorum once. That decision led you to becoming a general and removed from Mrs. De Silva's Christmas card list. It's weird, John, because she still texts me. I love Starfield, we'll play it. I have it. I bought it. I pre-ordered it before launch. It launched. It was a fucking hot mess. I want to go back to it and give it a go again in the future. But I also need to be conscious that I don't turn absolutely everything into streaming and have some time to go and play Starfield or whatever. My current urge, and I'm at war with myself whether I use Vag to stream this or not. My current urge is because I'm the thing I'm most excited about for video games right now, that I'm most excited about is next year in 2025. It's Grand Theft Auto 6.
My guild just cleared the raid in Warcraft last week. 9 hours a week since the start of November. The final kill is a catharsis, but sometimes you just want to eat a burger, rub one out and go to sleep.
That's not where I saw that one ending, Cedrus. Thank you so much for the 10. You fucking hero. Sometimes, Luce, you just want to eat a burger, rub one out and go to sleep.
And I wouldn't stop you from doing that if you want to do that. We've all had a hard week at work.
That's fucking amazing. So the thing I'm most excited about for next year is Grand Theft Auto 6. I've played every single Grand Theft Auto game that's ever been released. Fucking love Grand Theft Auto games. I'm mad. I don't know why. I love them. They're brilliant. I think they're great. And Grand Theft Auto 5, I've played that game 2 or 3 times almost. Although I love it. It's fantastic. I can't remember most of it now because it was so long ago. Because Grand Theft Auto has been out for like 10 fucking years. So I was like, I want to start Grand Theft Auto 5 from scratch again. And start playing that game again and go through all those bits again. I fucking love it. And I thought about starting putting that on Vag, and I'm like, do I want to just play it though and not put it on stream, or do I want to actually stream it because I think it'd be fun? The best thing about Grand Theft Auto, the radio stations.
Do you pay the prostitutes appropriately?
Yes.
And you don't beat them up? No.
How do you get your money back?
No.
Space Marine 2, I have zero interest in Space Marine 2 whatsoever. Mostly because my experience of Space Marine 1 ran into crowd of bugs. Or orcs, it wasn't Space Marine 1, wasn't it? Press button, hack and slash until everything's dead. Run into next crowd of bugs. Press hack and slash button until everything's dead. Run into next crowd of bugs. Press hack and slash button. You're still excited about GTA 6 in spite of what Rockstar did to their employees to make it? I have no idea what they did to employees to make it. I just know that the game's coming. Vice City soundtrack, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I have no idea what they did. I've not read that. Homeworld 3, please don't suck. Please don't suck. Please don't suck. Isn't GTA live action just a trip to London these days? Yeah. In fact, I think a trip to London nowadays, guys, is more violent, to be honest with you. Chat, you know what we are? We're £18 away from my super chat goal. 5 minutes ago. Are you fact searching?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed you started typing and stuff. We're £18 away from our super chat goal, or 20 quid. We'll just call it an even 20. And Luce is fact searching right now, so you know. Are you fact and law searching?
Mm-hmm.
Double whammying it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Respect your sex workers, even in video games. Amazing. So this week is going to carry on as normal tomorrow. There might be a slight change on Friday. Let me explain. So tomorrow at 13:30, we will have the Liam and Joe show. We'll talk about probably 40k stuff because we're trying to keep Thursday 40k, Tuesday AOS. We didn't have Tuesday, so it might be AOS focus. We'll see. They released an article today which is very interesting about reactions and stuff. We might talk about that. And then tomorrow night at 7:30, you've got Joe with Chaos Space Marines using some brand new Night Lords models facing off against Brom with Ultramarines. So it's Chaos versus Space Marines. It'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. That's happening tomorrow evening at 7:30. Friday, 40k After Dark is happening. It is happening. But I'm in Birmingham for the day. So it might be that it's slightly closer to its old timings, right? So just keep an eye out because I have to drive home from Birmingham and hope traffic's okay on a Friday, which also happens to be the last Friday of the school holidays. I'll then have to pick up a camera from the studio and then I'll have to come here, set up the stream. So likelihood of me being ready for 8:30. Well, last time I got home from Birmingham at 8:35. So it.
Can you bring the camera home tomorrow?
No, because I'm coming home early so I can get to sleep so I can get up and go to Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, you're not in on it.
Yeah. So, no. Can't get the camera home. This is the problem of only having 5 cameras. Exclamation mark chat. But yeah, so when I finally get home, I then have to have some dinner as well because I'll be fucking starving. And then set the camera up, set the stream up. So it might be tomorrow that it is slightly later than what is the new schedule. It might be like it's 9, half 9 or whatever. But I will go live. I promise you I'll go live. Hand tattoo tomorrow. Yeah. I have been warned it's probably going to be quite uncomfortable.
Well, serves you right.
I love it. It looks cool though, doesn't it? Do you think I'm 140% sexier now? 130%? Honestly, Dax, thank you for the tier. You're a legend. I'll be in a quiet house from Monday. Oh, what is that? Sad time. That sounds great. I think I may have been wrong about the GTA thing. This is why I usually do my homework before commenting to a statement like that. My bad. It's cool. I had no idea either. So I play Aldari. I understand the slave bird all too well. I have models old enough to drink. 100% Brandon. Right, you people have been incredible tonight. We haven't quite hit the super chat target. We're a little bit short, but you have hit the members target after you doubled the members target yesterday. So we'll let you off because you're beautiful humans and I love you all very dearly. Thank you so much for all your generosity. It is, however, that time of the night because Luce doesn't want to talk about how sexy I am. Fact or law first?
Fact.
Fact first. Right, chat, if you're new here, this is loose fact. You have to decide whether this is loose or loose. And loose means like it's true or loose means it's bollocks. And when I say bollocks, I mean L-O-O-S-E. And L-U-C-E is true. Get it? Cool. Loose fact.
The number of times a cricket chirps in 15 seconds plus 37 will give you the current air temperature.
That's gotta be bollocks. That has to be bollocks. The number of times a cricket chirps in 15 seconds plus 37. Fuck off.
So if you don't know what the temperature is.
She's not reading out. It's just a tutor. Dax is trying to get us to the super chat target because he loves us and he's wonderful. That sounds like
Well,
nonsensical.
if you don't know what the temperature is, just take your domestic cricket outside, time 15 seconds, add 37. Oh, look. It's 45 degrees. I'm guessing Fahrenheit.
I'm assuming Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit, I mean, you'd all be dead.
If it's Celsius, it's definitely bollocks.
Well, I'm going to go with Fahrenheit.
Because I've definitely heard crickets chirping outside in an English summer that's 10 degrees. That's definitely bollocks, because plus 37 doesn't work.
Do you remember when we had our bearded dragons and a couple of the crickets got out? Oh my God.
They were in the kitchen cupboards and shit. Oh my lord.
We emptied the shoe cupboard at 2 in the morning because we could hear a cricket.
I reckon that is absolutely nonsensical. I don't think that's true at all. Of course, it's one of those we actually probably could test. We could, in fact, capture a cricket.
No, let's go to the pet shop.
Time it for 15 seconds.
Get some crickets.
We could we could time it for 50 seconds, and then like
Add 37,
of
yeah.
course, yeah. How silly of me.
And then what's the formula to get Fahrenheit back down to Celsius?
Oh, I don't fucking know. Go to Google. That's the formula.
Google it quickly.
Right. Hamish says loose. Yeah, loose facts. It's a thing. It's not a thing. It's bollocks. It's too specific to be loose. No, they say that you can. They say that you will eat 23 spiders in your lifetime.
No. Blah. I don't want to eat any.
True Fact was published in 1897 by A.E. Dolbear, a physics professor at Tufts College. Yeah, but that's not 1897. It's
Crickets haven't changed that much.
1,027 years ago. Climate change is a thing, right?
What, so they're chirping more now?
Yeah, well,
Because it's hotter.
how fast
Chirp,
they chirp?
chirp, chirp.
That's what. After climate change, all the crickets are rubbing through their legs. They've got no fucking legs left now.
They're deep.
It's fucking hot today, Lawrence, isn't it?
Close enough?
Thank you, Bloody Blood, for the 15. You're a legend. It was close enough, but these other people have carried us over. Imagine that. What are you doing? Fucking, have you seen how hot it is now? I think it's
First day of
nonsense.
the year today.
Absolute bollocks, that. I think that's nonsense.
Right, hang on. Here's a simple trick you can use. Multiply the temperature in degrees Celsius by 2 and then add 30 to get to the Fahrenheit. So take away 30 and then divide by 2.
Yeah.
So let's say the cricket didn't chirp at all and it's 37 Fahrenheit. What was it? Take away 30.
Yeah.
That's
by 2.
cold. No wonder it didn't
3.5
chirp.
degrees,
That's cold.
yeah. Ever thank you for the 5, just a random 5. I was like, she's going to say something. And she didn't say anything.
Crickets go bird.
Yeah. Nowadays, crickets are like fucking A10 warthogs. Fucking warm, don't they? Anywho, right.
Okay.
What happens if there's no 37 degrees out? The crickets will die, nobody, apparently. That's what happens. Right. I'm going to have to wait for your law because you've got
No,
a
I've
couple
got
of
one.
wonderful super chats to come through from these people. I don't want you to be interrupted halfway through because it would spoil the atmosphere. It would catch fire in an oven. How could you tell? What the fuck did I just join? We're talking about crickets.
Nothing like learning something with someone to give you a hit of something you start craving. Don't ask how I know. I can't put it in chat. Flushed face.
Thanks, Star. Thank you very much.
Thanks for all you do.
Thanks for all you do, Brandon. Brandon gives memberships all the time. Every Liam and Joe show before we go live. Brandon Lagasse. I think he does it on purpose to make Joe say his name.
What's his name?
Brandon, or I say Lagasse. Bro, Joe gets confused. He goes, Brandon Lagasse, Lagazzi. And he'll sit there sometimes before the stream even goes live. He opens up the and he's like, oh. Everyone tomorrow, I don't know how easy this is to do, but can everyone tomorrow just Google a very complicated surname to say? Anyone who's thinking about gifting or super chatting tomorrow, can you just change your surname on YouTube or change your name on YouTube just for tomorrow's stream, just for Joe? It would bring me great joy. It would bring me great joy. Thank you, Brandon, for the 10. You're a hero. Thank you, Star, for the 5. You're a legend. Right, we now have a piece of loose law. This is loose law because it's law that exists somewhere that probably isn't ever actually really enforced or there's no actual need for it. Hence loose law. Loose fact, loose law. You've got your own segments now.
I know.
A fancy radio show, innit? So this is what was the number?
Oh, 18.
Which was letter...
R.
Which was country.
Well, because it all got very serious on the last two ones, I've decided to just put places beginning with R, and we found ourselves in Italy because of Rome.
Okay, so country beginning with R, Italy. And what random facts or what random law, actual LAW here, right? Not law like we know. Which random law does Italy have?
Back in 2008, Italy's Supreme Court ruled that men who touch their genitals in public, even to readjust or scratch, will be committing a criminal offence.
We can't go to Rome. We definitely can't take Joe.
I wonder how many men are there going out of their minds because they're uncomfortable.
So did it specific? So I assume it specifically means touch with hand.
What, you're going to get like a litter picker and
because
shove it down there?
Most of the wonderful men in chat will know that often you have to readjust because it gets quite uncomfortable. Often because it sticks to the leg or something, right? That's the problem. So what? How do people? You got people walking down the fucking street like they've shat themselves and trying to unstick, like this. Just unstick, and then it might peel itself off the leg. Then
you look like a praying mantis.
I feel like that's an unfair law. I wonder what the punishment is.
Oh, I don't know. It says, naturally, this is great news for social etiquette and people in general. However, it is very much bad news for all those men who still believe in the superstition that a quick touch of the trouser area will prevent any form of bad luck.
I'm now using that excuse. When we're in public, the next time you're like, Liam, get your hand out your trousers. Like, bad luck. I've got to get rid of that bad luck. Got to get rid of that bad luck. Anyway, there you go. There's some loose law for you as well. Can't touch your cock in Rome. Is it specific that I can't touch mine? Like, if I'm like, loose, I need readjusting. Can you do it?
No.
What does the law say?
I choose not to do it.
What does the law say?
It says men, but I choose not to
so
do
you
it.
could.
I'm not touching your junk
so you could rearrange
sweaty Rome because it's stuck to your leg.
Well,
no.
How do you know it's sweaty Rome? You've been listening to them crickets.
You said it's sticking to your leg.
But it says men, so you can do it.
No, sorry, I'm not a man. I can't touch your dick. Sorry. I don't want to break the law and ruin our holiday.
But you're not a man, so you can't. You won't be breaking the law.
But I'm touching.
But that's not what the law says.
In
Look,
public.
Luce, I'm just saying, for science, we have to go to Rome.
Science.
For science, all right?
No.
Right, you people have been amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight on this little 40k stream where I'm even more positive about the game in general because you know what? Rules are just guidelines.
Carl, you're rancid.
More guidelines. More guidelines. That's from
What about women readjusting flaps?
well, nowadays, Carl, women can readjust cocks anyway. We're talking about, like, is it Pirates of the Caribbean where he says more like guidelines? Pirates Code, more like guidelines. That's how we're treating 40k rules now, chat. More like guidelines, all right? Not actual rules, guidelines. We had loads of fun. I'm going to encourage Rob and Joe to do a little bit of that tomorrow, maybe. But what we're also going to look to do in the near future, because of Mr. the Peachy, is try and throw some more narrative shit together. I'm going to encourage the guys to build narrative forces. It's amazing. It's been so much fun. We had a load of fun yesterday. I've had a load of fun tonight with you people as well. Lots of laughs for a Wednesday stream. No, many laughs. We'll probably have more laughs on Friday with 40k After Dark, where you can all laugh at how much pain I'm in, as you always do every time this sort of thing happens. A big shout out to you wonderful people who have super chatted tonight. Thank you so much. We did, in fact, hit the target. And thank you so much for all the new members, or all the people gifted memberships, because we also smashed that target. You people are incredible. Thank you so much. Wee Man says, Liv, you look really tired now. Trust me, Wee Man, I am about to go to the shower and get into bed. It's like, well, obviously I'll turn the shower on. I'll dry myself, because you know you fuckers are pedantic sometimes. Then I'll get into bed, dry, clean, ready for some sleep. I am fucked. But thank you so much for joining us. If you've got membership, ! Discord, get yourself in there, or check out all the links and stuff. You people are wonderful. Lucy's amazing as always with some incredible facts and laws there. That was a good set tonight. It was a good set. I still feel the need to capture cricket though.
I want to test it.
Yeah, I kind of want to test that one because a lot of people said that they reckon it's true.
I'm glad we had our sense of humour that morning at 2 a.m. when we'd been kept awake for an hour because we could hear a cricket in the distance somewhere.
Yeah.
I do wonder who would have won if we didn't have a sense of humour that night.
Right, thank you so much you beautiful humans, for hanging out with us. I hope we see you tomorrow, 13:30 for the Liam and Joe show, 7:30 for another Like Gamer 40k. You've been incredible. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.